think I would actually at some point love to do a version of this that's a little more tight fitting, just go down a size in a different type of yarn. Hi there, and welcome back to a new episode of my knitting podcast. This is LiseLight, and my name is Lisa. I'm a Danish knitter based in Copenhagen, and on this channel, I share all kinds of stuff about my knitting adventures, all the development that goes on, what I have on my mind, and if you're interested in this content, please subscribe. It's lovely to hear about all your projects going on. So I'd really appreciate that. Today, it's not been so long. I think I released the last episode not too long ago, but I actually forgot something. And I'm wearing it, so I thought we could maybe we could start there. And so anyways, I wanted to just give you an update. It may not be a long episode because it's not like I have that many new things to share with you, but I thought this piece deserved a spot in the podcast. So I'll just jump into it, and we will get going. Actually, before that, let's just transition into a Danish word or expression of the day. And before I do that, if there are any Danish words or expressions that you are struggling with, not that you have to know how to pronounce stuff. I mean, don't feel the pressure. I always say that. But if you're curious about how do you actually pronounce this, how is this actually said, please write it in the comments below, because then I'll bring it up in the next video. But let's just jump into Danish expression or word of the day, and then I'll be back after that. The Danish word of the day is Nyhavn. Nyhavn means new harbor, and it's the name of an area in Copenhagen that's very, very famous for tourists to visit. And it's easy to see on the little photo that I've borrowed from one of the hotels there that it's definitely a place where you want to snap a bunch of photos. It's beautiful. It's the houses date all the way back 300 years. So they're really, really old and very pretty in all the different colors. There is a tour boat that starts from Nyhavn. I can warmly recommend that. And then the little stretch with the beautiful houses is full of cafes and restaurants. In Copenhagen, it's known as a very, very touristy area. So not a lot of people who live in Copenhagen will go there to party or to eat because it is so touristy. But it's easy to understand why. I actually like, when I take tourists to see Nyhavn, I actually like to be on the side where you can see the photo is taken. So you are actually at the opposite side so you can watch it. Because when you're at the stretch, first of all, you'll probably pay more for your food and drinks there than anywhere else in Copenhagen or most places. And also, you may not get necessarily the best quality of food. There are some good places, but there are also a lot of what I would call tourist traps. So I would recommend maybe walking on the other side, get your nice photos of the place, and then maybe go elsewhere to get your food and drinks. So that's just the place. So the pronunciation is Nyhavn. That's the way you pronounce it. So definitely a place you've probably seen if you've been to Copenhagen, and it's definitely worth looking at. It's in the center of the city, so easy to get to. But most of all, I would recommend the little trip around the harbor, seeing Copenhagen from the waterfront. That's very enjoyable. So let's just jump into the episode. So what I'm wearing is the Rainy Day, is that what it's called? Rainy Day Tee by Sorry Nordland. And I finished it. I made it in lamb's wool and DK weight. I'll insert a picture of me wearing it, swirling around. And I really love it. It's probably a little more oversized than it's meant to be. And the reason for that was I was afraid, because on the photos, it looks like the arms are very tight here. And I think for some yarn it may look good, but I felt like for this particular yarn that I've chosen, I'm not sensitive to wool very much, actually. I just realized I'm well, not that I'm not sensitive at all. I probably could find wool that I would find scratchy, but this is definitely rustic, toothy. I think somebody has called that type of yarn. But this doesn't bother me. But I was thinking though, if it was too tight fitting, it it might actually be a little uncomfortable. And I felt like for this type of yarn, I wanted it a little more oversized. So you can see, I mean, it's not like the armhole is really, really deep. I made it a little longer than it was supposed to be, but and the sleeves are just comfortable loose. It's not crazy oversized, but I think I would actually at some point love to do a version of this that's a little more tight fitting, just go down a size in a different type of yarn. This alpaca that I did the Miles t-shirt in, I can insert the video if you want to see that. I just love this. Oh, it's so soft. And I love the t-shirt I made from this. And I think that could actually be pretty cool with this. I think also I think that I'm pretty proud of the cables. I made a couple of mistakes, I think, but when I look at it, I can't really see um, it doesn't look like I made any mistakes, but I was a little confused about that. I've talked about it before that it didn't like instead of just having consecutive rows in the description in the pattern, like you start with row one and then continue on, and then on, for example, row 27 you to 35 you do this, and so forth. It kept starting over, like you've done these rows and then you start with row 1 to 4 and then you repeat that. That just confused the heck out of me because I felt like it was difficult to remember when I was going to do the cables. I'm learning how to read the cables in the stitches, but there were quite a distance between the cables, and I felt like that made it um, at least for me, it felt a little more complex to follow, but the result is great. There's a short row shaping in the back, so you have it dips down beautifully. One thing to know, and she tells you that, which is great, the neckline was enormous before I did the neckband, and it says so. Don't worry, it'll be fine once you pick up the stitches, and it did. It's a double folded neckline. I think it looks really nice and crisp, and it's not too tight because I was a little worried that it would get it may also stretch out a little bit, but I'm not mad about that because I didn't want it to be like choking me. I feel like some of Sari Nordlund's models, I think, to me at least, it feels like they go up very high, and I'm not always a big fan of that. Can be nice, but I tend to be hot or get hot, and if it's way too tight here, it feels like you can't breathe and you keep going like this. So I'd rather have it a little looser, not crazy loose, but a little looser like this. So I'm really happy with it. It's just a simple piece basically, but it does the job. I mean, I love that little detail without it, and especially in this color that's a little bland, to be honest, maybe a little bland for me and my color scheme. um, I feel like that detail just lifts it up a little bit. Without it, it would be a little bit boring, to be honest. You could get away with another color and do this simple top. That's great. I love the simple stuff as well. But I feel like this is definitely a good choice. So overall, I'm very happy with it. So again, I might just size down next time. It's on me. I've talked about it before. I tend to size up too much, and I'm a little bit over that. I mean, I love an oversized garment, but it also, I have bust and definitely not a skinny girl by any means, and so I feel like some oversized items actually, I feel like, make me look a little more how should I put this? Frumpy. It's a really a weird way of describing it, maybe, but I think what I'm getting at is that feeling you have if you feel really good in a garment and you feel like it brings out the best in you. That's what I'm going for. So sometimes it's not even about the size. It's just about, I don't know, little details. But this makes me feel great, polished, and just neat, because it looks, I feel like, looks professional, looks nice. So I'm really happy with it. So that's that. And then let's move into works in progress. The biggest one is probably the one, and the reason why I forgot to talk about this finished item last time was I was so occupied on talking about how I would unravel the spring sweater. I'll put in the link to the video if you didn't catch it. I started this very ambitious project with a beautiful, beautiful pattern, and actually a very detailed, great pattern for the spring pullover. And I gave up. And it's not that I realized I could do it, but I didn't want to do it because I had to. It's so intricate that I had to follow the chart so closely that it almost became painful, because I would have to almost sit at a table and knit while I was just staring at the chart with the tiny little squares. And I tried all kinds of different ways of making it work, and I just decided it's not going to be enjoyable. It's going to be too much hassle. And then in this dark yarn, where you really can't see the details of what you're doing unless you have almost like a projector beaming onto your project, I didn't find it enjoyable. I really didn't. So somebody said, oh, it would have been nice if it was written out. It is written out. You both have the opportunity in the pattern to look at the charts or look at the written directions. I like following charts more. I think they're more intuitive instead of reading through a ton of, and also the lines are really long for this, because on the back piece, and you connect it, or you have quite a long piece where you knit, and then you connect it in the round when you start working on this part. It's a raglan, and so there was a lot of pattern and stitches, and I decided not to stress about it and not feel bad about it and just start over. So I didn't quite unravel the whole thing because I have a lot of this yarn that I'm using. And it's where I had cut the yarn, I actually left that little piece because also I thought maybe it's fun. It's hanging with loose threads, but this yarn doesn't unravel by itself very easily. Oops, picked up the wrong yarn. This brown, or this wool type doesn't unravel easily. So I think I'm just gonna hang on to this little piece that I have knit because I would love to pick it up again at some point, but it definitely needs to be under different circumstances and in a lighter yarn, that's for sure. Anyways, what I decided to do, I've gotten this far, is I still wanted the light and airy thing. And so what I went with was the Anke Strick pullover. It's called the garden pullover, I believe, or garden sweater. I can't remember. I'll put up a photo of it. And it's this repetitive, beautiful lace pattern. It doesn't quite, I mean, my original idea, I did a video with a bunch of patterns for airy, lacy stuff for DK weight. I can also link to that video if you're interested. There are a lot of beautiful patterns in it. And I kind of wanted something that wasn't too see-through. This is definitely going to be see-through. Let's just be honest. It's definitely going to be something where you need to put something under it. But I mean, like a black camisole or something like that is probably going to be fine, or something skin toned. So it is going to probably to be a little, let's see, but it's beautiful, and it's such a relief because you can almost do this pattern with not your eyes closed, but almost. So I've started doing the back piece. You're supposed to go until you have, a certain length for the arm, and then you start picking up and doing the one front and then the other side in the front, and then you connect it and so forth. It's a drop shoulder model. It has this very interesting neckline, so I'm looking forward to working that. But it looks beautiful. I think it goes really well with this yarn because it's going to obtain that quality I wanted, the light and airy piece that I can just like put over stuff. It had an interesting detail from the beginning because he wants you to cast on using a crochet needle, which I thought was very interesting. First of all, you have just a short tail; you don't do the long tail cast on. And I haven't done this crochet method before, but she very conveniently has a very good video explaining how you do it and how not to twist it and so forth. And it's impossible to see, I think, on the video. I'll try anyways to see. You probably can't see it, but it gets to be this beautiful. It does look like a crochet chain, basically at the bottom of or at the start of the piece, and looks very, very neat. I was wondering a little bit afterwards why even that would be important. Maybe it's easier to pick up stitches when you do the front and connect with the back piece. I don't know if that's the reason, but regardless, it looks neat, and it was fun to do. I guess it makes it easier to pick up the stitches, maybe when sometimes it can be a little messy with your the way you cast on, and it's fairly not crazy stretchy, it's fairly stretchy. It was fun to do. So yeah, so that's my new project that I'm definitely keen on working on because it seems to do the job. Then I'm working on this one. My Cumulus blouse has come pretty far. I'm finished. Let me see if I can hold it up so you can actually see what's going on here. I'll go like this. So just hold it up. So I've finished one sleeve completely. I've done the I-cord in the bottom. And then I've done the I-cord at the neckline. I think it looks so cool. And I think this is going to be a better size for me. I tried it on and it's definitely a little tighter fitting. And actually what that meant was on the sleeves, I actually opted to do less increases. No, I keep saying it wrong. Decreases. Sorry, it's because it's the opposite way around in Danish with the words. So you can see my little markers here. I was supposed to do how many more? Quite a few more. And I just felt like the sleeve would be way too narrow for my taste. So I just I did the first ones because I felt that makes sense. Your arm is wider here, and then I have pretty skinny arms down here and little tiny wrists. So I felt like it would look I don't know, it would if I felt like it would be almost tight, and I think that would be uncomfortable and too hot again. So I just opted to do the first set of increase or decreases, and then I just went straight for the sleeve. And on the other one, I've at that point where I'm done with the decreases, and then I'm just going to go straight. So I definitely don't have a lot of stuff left before this piece is finished. So I'm very excited about that. I think it's going to be a great spring piece. It's very, very soft, and I think the color is so pretty, just up my alley. So I definitely think I'm gonna get a lot of use out of that. So very happy with that. And then the last item I have to share with you are my socks, and I don't have them in person here, so I want to just put up a picture of my progress so far. But what I'm working on are the Summer Lee. It's a sock pattern that she released, I think, not too long ago that I felt was intriguing enough for me to jump on. And it's called the Comfort Core socks. And the idea was that she wanted to create a pair of socks that felt just as comfortable as a pair of athletic socks. And I felt that was intriguing too. I opted to go with this yarn. It's not really sock yarn, but it could definitely work as such because it's 80% wool and 20% polyester. It works out, I think, again, we're back to the swatches again. I don't do swatches for socks. I find that pretty ridiculous. So I started doing the size medium, which should be the right size for my foot. But I felt like, because again, I have skinny ankles, and I felt like it was too tight or too big. And so I unraveled and started over on the size small, and it's definitely going to be tight, but then again, I just know how socks stretch out. And if there's something I don't like about homemade socks is if they get really slouchy around the leg. I really don't like that. So I opted to go with this, a needle size of 2.25, which is usually what I use for my socks. And I redid my thinking because the first attempt that I unraveled, I was going with the model with a bit of ribbing and then a lot of stockinette. And then I changed my mind and I decided to go with the 2x2 ribbed version. She has three different options for the leg part. And actually, I think it's really cute. The one with like this, I don't even know what they're called, but you know, the shorter ones where it's just ribbing and then you go straight into the foot. I think they're actually adorable. But in this wool yarn, I don't think it should have been a lighter type yarn, I think. So anyways, I used this and then I opted to do a couple of stripes just to stay within the sort of athletic vibe type thing. And I went with my beautiful alpaca that I did my Miles t-shirt with. And this is definitely not sock yarn, not at all. There's no acrylic or polyester or anything in it, but I just decided, well, for a couple of stripes on the cuff, I'm not going to use more color on this particular sock. Just do the two stripes on top. This is fine. I mean, it's not going to get any wear and tear on the foot. This is definitely much softer than this yarn, but I just thought it looked kind of cute and would be nice to wear with the shirt. Again, probably nobody else but me would see the stripes on the leg, but you know what? I'm fine with that. So I figured that was a good combination. And what's interesting about the pattern is all this kind of texture going on. You have some texture on top of the foot. You have this band around your the arch that cinches in and supports you, or is supposed to support you. And then you have so much stuff going on that I kind of felt like that's kind of a fun project. I know I had talked about doing a pair of socks with lace, and I might still do that at some point, but I think I have a little bit of that itch scratched with this project, going with the even though it's a simple lace pattern, it's beautiful, it's fun, it's good. And so I figured those socks, I just remembered that I had bought the pattern because I was intrigued about it. And I felt like that could be fun to try out. It has a slip knit, the heel with, is that what you call it? Slip knot? I can't remember all the words right now. But you know what I mean? You have the heel flap and the gusset, that type of heel. And even though I've said that I'm actually very excited about the shadow wrapped heel, I think it fits my foot really well. I think for this one, I'm gonna keep with the pattern just because, yeah, I mean, it looks a little different, I feel like, than the other socks I've done. Maybe it's just a classical slip knit type heel flap. I haven't really looked close into that, but I think I'll follow the pattern completely because, again, also all the cinching in and whatnot, maybe that'll work better with this type of heel. So I'll trust the pattern and just go with it. I haven't tried any of Summer Lee's patterns before, but they seem to be very well written. It's very clear. There hasn't been any confusion. I also love that she has different versions of the socks in one pattern, an example of what that would look like, because that inspires you to start, doing your own thing too. I find that really, really cool and interesting. So that's what I have going on at the moment. For future plans, I don't know when I'm done with this. I sort of have, I have this rule that I can have, a maximum of 3 things going at a time. It's how my brain works the best. So I'm not quite sure. I think it's going to be some sort of springy, summery type project. I might do a video on some of the tops and t-shirts that I'm inspired by for spring and summer. If you're interested in that, leave me a comment. I'll definitely do that video because I've been researching a little bit, finding different patterns and Um, Also, I need to go through and see what I have in my stash, what could come out of what I already have. I have some drops yarn, but I'm not that crazy about it. But then on the other hand, it bothers me that it just stays there. But then again, do you want to spend a lot of time doing? It's some cotton merino, and the one that I used for a t-shirt before that, I feel like it rips out threads easily, and I'm not. Oh, I don't know about that. But then I also have some Sandnes yarn Lena lying around in cream and beautiful green color because I was doing a striped top. I'll talk more about that in a future episode. But that's something I unraveled, and I need to, I think, gather that and figure out how much do I actually have of each color left, and what can I do with it. The combination of those two colors were great, and it was a double knit piece, so I have, which I don't want to do again. I want to do a more like go down engage and then do something that's lighter, so there might be plenty to do something, I don't know, we'll see. So those are just very loose projects that I'm going to go work on after, but I want to finish this. I'm hoping to wear it next week, which should be definitely possible. I just, it's a battle, you know how it is. I'd rather knit on this, but I want to finish this. So, and I only have two hands, so I gotta prioritize. So I think this may just be one concentrated evening just going for it. So I'll definitely get that done. My goal is to have it done by Saturday or Sunday because I want to go. I'm going on a little business trip. I teach in my business once in a while. I go and teach classes in online marketing, and I'm going. It's a different part of Denmark that I teach, and I'm going for a couple of days. So I have time on the train, but I'd rather wear this one of the days that I'm teaching. So so that's my aim. And then yeah, let's see what I bring on the train. I think it's going to be this one. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So that's my thoughts for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, please subscribe if you find this stuff entertaining and interesting. Leave me your comments, your thoughts. Tell me what you're working on. I love to hear about everything going on. I love this little community. I've said it before, but in a world with so much anger and hate, you could say, that I feel like is emanating from different places, it's so lovely to have something that brings you joy. And I, at least that brings me peace, and just the fact that creating all this stuff with your hands and being a creative person, this is just a little piece of heaven for me because it's just brings me so much calm and quiet in my nervous system. So I hope it does the same for you. And that's also why I think it's important to prioritize the projects, and why I change gears with my brown wool. That why make it hard and uncomfortable if you can actually just change plans and do something that brings you happiness and joy. So I think that's probably my biggest takeaway for myself, is just go with what makes you happy. It's for fun. It's not this is not a business for me. This is fun. This is joy, and this is how it's going to be. So with that, I'm going to leave you for today and hope to see you in my next video. Take care.